It's a lovely day today, so whatever you've got to do, you got a lovely day to do it in, that's true. And I hope whatever you've got to do is something that can be done by two, for I'd really like to stay.
Welcome to Ask Aunt Ann. It's a lovely day here, and I hope it's a lovely day where you are. This month, in honor of Earth Day, we're focusing on upcycling. That's a new term for what I've always called trash to treasure, or finding a new use for something that would have been thrown away. On today's show, we'll visit a shop where almost everything has been repurposed, and we'll meet the shop owner who will give us a tour and talk about where she gets all her ideas. And we'll be showing you how to create really beautiful and unique decorations with a local wedding planner. In the kitchen, we have a great recipe for mini chicken pot pies, plus a fun craft idea. You won't want to miss this episode. It's really amazing what you can make from recycled materials. And here's a perfect example. This beautiful desk caddy. You'll just need cans of various sizes, decorative paper, a sheet of craft foam, decorative duct tape, some glue, scissors, pencil, and a little imagination. First, get those cans nice and clean. Today, I'm only going to use one to make the project simpler, but you can make as many as you want. Just keep in mind that odd numbers work best for grouping. Pick out your paper. I'm using some paper that I had left over from a scrapbook project, but you can use wallpaper, gift wrap, pages from old books, maps, brochures from your last trip, or anything that's printed. Measure the cans and cut the correct sizes for each can inside and out. And it really helps if you can carefully remove the label from the can and use it as the template for cutting out your paper, which is what I've done. So you trace the label onto your decorative paper and just make sure to leave a 1/2 inch overlap for the glue. So I'm going to start by gluing the outer portion onto the can. Put a little bit of glue right along the edge and then just wrap it right around. And if it's not quite perfect, that's all right. I'm no Martha Stewart, and I say that imperfections add a little bit of character to whatever it is that you're creating. So once the outer label dries, you can use the inner label and just put that right inside. I'm not even going to glue this because it just fits perfectly right underneath the rim and just adds a little bit of extra color right on the inside. And then the next thing that you'll want to do is cut out the bottom for the inner part. And this is just a piece of craft foam, and a really easy trick for measuring the size that you need is to take a marker, just a regular old marker, but not a Sharpie marker, a water-based marker, and just run it right along the bottom ridge of the can, trace it right along the edge, and then you can actually use that to stamp right on top of your craft foam, and then just cut it out, and then you've got the perfect size for the inside of the can. And the reason that you want that in there is that so your pens and scissors and whatever you put inside aren't clanking around on the tin that's on the bottom of the can. And then next, what we're going to do is cover the top and bottom edges with a little bit of this decorative duct tape. This is the tricky part. It's not easy, especially when you have a ridge on the can, to make it look perfect. So with this part, just take your time, be patient, and little imperfections are okay. So what I do is start with the edge, matching up the edge of the paper that I put on the outside. And you can actually put it so that the top of the can is about halfway up the tape. And then I'm just going to slowly wrap it around and kind of pulling it taut as I go. And once I do about a 2-inch section, I'm going to wrap the top part down, stretching and kind of pulling it at the same time, and trying to get it with as few bubbles as possible. And then just finishing it up right underneath so that the bottom on the inside actually holds the inner paper in place. And you just do that, go all the way around the can until you reach back to the bottom where you started. Now, if you decide that you don't want to use the tape because it's a little too tricky, you can always finish your edges with something like some nice grosgrain ribbon, or you could even paint around the edges just to finish them off a little bit differently. And to make your project easier to clean and more durable, just brush on a few coats of Mod Podge. It's important to use the right glue for this project. Here's what I recommend. It's called Weld Bond, and it works wonders for this type of craft. I purchased it from Amazon.com for around $6, and it works for so many different projects. I'd love to see some of your handiwork. Just post a picture on our Facebook page. I've had a great question from one of our viewers. Paulette Dots in Watertown writes, "Dear Aunt Anne, do you have any ideas for leftovers? They never seem to get eaten in our house, and I hate to waste food. Something that doesn't take too much time and has simple ingredients would be perfect." Well, Paulette, I think I have just the recipe for you. Let's go into the kitchen. I like to make this recipe on Sundays and use the leftovers for Monday night. I've posted the recipe for lemon and sage chicken with roasted vegetables on my website. I think you'll really enjoy it. With the leftovers, you can make mini chicken pot pies. They take about 15 minutes to prep and about 25 minutes of cooking time. Here's what you'll need. 1 sheet frozen puff pastry dough thawed, 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 2 teaspoons of olive oil, 3 tablespoons all-purpose flour, 2 cups of milk, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 2 cups shredded leftover chicken, and 2 cups roasted root vegetables, coarsely chopped. 1/4 cup fresh basil, or if you don't have fresh, you can just use dried, but use 1/3 the amount, or 4 tablespoons. 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of sage, and 1 large egg white, beaten. Remember, this is not an exact science, so if you want to use different seasonings, go right ahead. First, preheat the oven to 425 degrees. Roll out the puff pastry to 1/4 inch thick and cut to fit over your oven-proof bowls. Make sure they're oven-proof. If your bowl is made by Pyrex or Corningware, you should be safe. Just check the bottom. Keep the pastry covered and chilled. Now we make a simple white sauce. Heat the butter and oil in a medium saucepan over moderate heat. Add flour and cook, whisking constantly for 1 minute. Add the milk in a slow stream while whisking constantly. Bring the mixture to a simmer. Simmer for about 5 minutes or until thickened. Stir in the rest of the ingredients, reserving the veggies and chicken. Pour the sauce over the chicken and vegetables and spoon mixture into oven-proof bowls. Top the bowls with the pastry, pressing against the outside edge of the bowls to seal. Brush with egg white. Next, bake the pot pies on a baking sheet in the middle of the oven for 17 minutes or until pastry is golden brown. Serve hot. Add a salad, and you have a dinner even leftover haters will love. Thanks for writing, Paulette. I love getting questions from viewers. Just go to my webpage, askauntAnne.com, and leave me a message. Here's another letter from a viewer. Dear Aunt Anne, My daughter is getting married this year, and I could really use some advice on decorating for the reception. It's outside. Where do I start? Dorothy Klingberg, Deerfield. Dorothy, you're in luck. I know just the person to help you out. Hi, Kate.
Hi, Anne.
Thanks so much for joining us today.
Glad to do it.
Kate is a wedding planner, and her business, Pinner Planner, specializes in rustic and vintage party rentals and custom wedding design. So, Kate, where does our viewers start?
Well, the best place to start is to choose your theme. Today, I have some ideas to show her. For an outdoor wedding, usually a casual yet elegant feel is the way to go. So first, I like to start with the centerpieces. Actually, I specialize in eclectic centerpieces and design, where I choose things from around the house, household items, and display them in a new and interesting way. So let me show you some of my things.
Please.
I have my suitcase. All right. Well, first you start with the table linen. You can use anything. They don't need to match. They can be mismatched. And then I like to use lace curtains as my table runners.
Beautiful.
Lay that across. Thanks, Anne.
You're welcome.
Now, every table needs a centerpiece and a base. So today I have a silver tray, which can be found in any house.
Sure.
To give your table lifts and levels, I like to use old books or cigar boxes or anything like that.
That adds so much extra character.
Exactly. And add a doily to soften the look a little bit.
And these could even be family heirloom pieces.
Exactly, make it extra special. Next, we can add our flowers. Today we're using tulips in honor of spring, and these can be put in any vase, any different size, shape, just collected from anywhere. As you can see, this is just a water pot. The next step is candles, candles, candles. When the lights go down, this is what really sets the mood. Here we have a candlestick and a tea light, and these are very easy to collect as well. The next step is the special pieces. These can be really anything you can think of. Silver pieces, pearls, brooches, even a vanity mirror, and a glove.
So lovely.
Yeah, and this is the fun part because all the tables will have a different look, have a different style, with all like coming together and having the same look. And then a table number, just so guests know where to sit.
Yes, it all comes together so beautifully.
Yeah. And this is really easy to find. They can either be gathered from your household or your friends or your family, or you can simply rent from me, the Pinner Planner, and I'll help you put it together.
Definitely. And you may look familiar to some of our viewers, Kate. You were born and raised in Watertown, correct?
I was, yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you got started as an event planner?
Sure. Well, I worked with an event planner at a wedding venue, and I really got to see the ins and outs of the business, and I really enjoyed working with the clients and especially the decorations and all the different styles. So I really wanted to just branch off and start my own business.
Oh, very good. And what types of events do you like to plan?
Well, I specialize in weddings, except Pinner Planner really does it all. Birthday parties, showers, really anything you can think of, we do.
And where do you find your inspiration?
Well, my inspiration actually comes from the website Pinterest, which is where Pinner Planner comes from. You can see all the different ideas there, and I like to bring it to life.
It's just such a incredibly vast resource for people. I love
yes.
Pinterest.
Exactly. I try to tie it down. It's really hard for brides, and so I try to make it a little easier.
Definitely. And so please share a little bit about your business philosophy with us.
Sure. Well, I like to think of my business as a customized business. Make sure it works for everybody, whether it be just for rentals or setup or the full-on coordination. Really just what the bride needs, I would like to do. I also work within their budgets, which is really important. I like to make people's weddings beautiful, so I try to work with everyone.
Definitely. And how can brides-to-be contact you?
Well, I have a Pinterest page, as also a Facebook page, and also a website, pinnerplanner.com. There's a place for you to fill in your information, some of your ideas, and I'll get in touch with you right away.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Kate. You certainly have a knack for making things look beautiful. And as you may know, I like to feature a song on each of our episodes. And I've heard that you have a very beautiful voice.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome. Would you care to share a song with us today?
I would love to.
Oh, that's great. How about a wedding song?
Perfect. Spring is here, the sky is blue. Whoa, birds will sing as if they knew. Today's a day we'll say I do, and we'll never be lonely anymore, because we're going to the chapel and we're gonna get married. Going to the chapel and we're gonna get married. Gee, I really love you and we're gonna get married. Going to the chapel of love. Bells will ring, the sun will shine. Whoa, I'll be his and he will be mine. We'll love until the end of time, and we'll never be lonely anymore, because we're going to the chapel and we're gonna get married. Going to the chapel and we're gonna get married. Gee, I really love you and we're gonna get married. Going to the chapel of love. We're going to the chapel of love.
Oh, thanks, Kate. Just last week, I visited a great new shop in Lake Mills. Almost everything in the store has been upcycled. Let's take a look at Calamity Jane's. Hi, everybody. I am here today at Calamity Jane's in Lake Mills, and I'd like you to meet Stephanie, the owner. Thank you for having us here today, Stephanie.
Thanks, you bet. Thanks for coming.
Sure. Now, I understand that you've just been at this location for not very long. Can you tell us about your move here?
Correct. We purchased this building the end of October, and we've been renovating all winter, so it kept us busy and out of the cold. And here we are. We've been open for 2 weeks now.
Tell me a little bit about some of the items that you have here at Calamity Jane's.
Well, we say that we have antiquities and scuffed up stuff, and I am generally drawn to the imperfect antiques, so that's what we have. Treasures in the rough.
Mm-hmm. And how did you get interested in this type of business?
Well, I do this with my mom, and she's always been a garage sale or repurposer, and I guess I picked it up from her.
Mm-hmm. And where do you find a lot of your things that you have here at the store?
Garage sales, estate sales. Sometimes people will come in and I'll buy stuff out of their trunk. That happened today.
Oh, what kind of things?
A beautiful old frame and some candlesticks.
And a lot of what you have sort of as the concept here has to do with repurposing items.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have some things that you can show us?
I do.
Oh,
Sure.
let's see.
Okay. So here's some things I have. I'm actually wearing one, but here it's a bracelet made out of Grandma's old watches. You know, if Grandma's got a jewelry box full of old watches that don't work, you can bring them back to life and wear them again. This is a purse that my daughter made for me, which I love, and this is all vintage lace and collars.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful?
The textures are so great.
She's even got fun lace inside.
Oh, very nice.
Here's another purse that somebody brought to me, and this is made out of an old book cover.
Oh,
just take the pages out and stitch yourself the sides, and awesome little bag. Another thing that a lot of people like is suitcases. People tend to be drawn to them. You can take a stack of like 3 of these and make yourself a coffee table. You can I have one hanging on my wall as a shelf. And you can also take and attach legs. Turn legs to the bottom.
How is that?
Voila, you have a wonderful little table.
I've also seen where people have repurposed vintage suitcases into like pet beds.
Oh,
You
yes.
put like a nice cushion in there.
Oh yeah,
for
sure. You pop
the
it
dog
open,
or the
and
cat. Yeah, those are really
and
nice.
there's nothing stopping you from decorating the outside with decoupage or whatever.
Yeah.
A lady came in the store the other day and she paints cowboy boots. You can personalize anything you want.
Excellent. Well, all the scuffs and the little scratches give everything so much extra character.
I
That's what
agree.
makes it so special.
I agree.
Tell me a little bit more about your space here. What was this building formerly?
Well, when we purchased the building, it was the Solutions Flower Shop. Originally, I believe it was the Rexall drugstore. And in between, I'm not sure. I think it was probably several things. I know it was a carpet store, and I'm not sure what else. I'd love for somebody to stop in and tell me some stories.
That would be neat, just
Yes.
hearing the history of the building.
Yes.
Have you always been sort of a creative soul?
I guess so. I like to shop at vintage stores for different clothes and.
Can you tell us a little bit about the outfit that you've put together today?
Well, this is vintage top, and I'm not sure where I bought it. The skirt is not vintage, but I thought it looked a little
I
vintage.
love the bird print
and
the lace
the
at
color. I
bottom.
thought the color
Mhm.
was good, and the shoes are newer. But I just. My daughter a couple years ago said she was into saddle shoes, and I said, "Ew, saddle shoes!" And then I promptly went out and bought a pair. So, my own saddle shoes. So
Yep.
anyway,
You're a girl after my own heart. I love shoes.
yeah, that's a weakness, can we say?
Definitely.
You have great shoes too.
Thank you very much. Tell me a little bit about your philosophy of repurposing.
2 main things that I think are great about repurposing is number 1, it's the ultimate in recycling. You're sparing something from going to the landfill. And number 2, it's the greatest way to personalize your home by using the old antique thing that no family member wants, but it's cool, nobody knows what to do with it, but if you can figure out a way to repurpose it, you can have it around you, and like I said, it's personalizes your home, I think.
And it brings in a little bit of history too, as well as a lot of character.
Yeah, memories.
Yeah. Tell me where you find all these wonderful items.
We go garage sailing religiously every Friday, my parents and I, in the summer months. I will go to estate sales. I'm not too proud to pick something up off of the curb. Or people will just bring us things and say, "Hey, are you interested in buying this?"
And do you stay local, or do you wander outside of the Lake Mills area?
We'll go outside the Lake Mills area towards Jefferson County or Madison area.
Sure.
And all Vinnie's are great places to look too.
Oh, they
St.
are.
Vinnie's,
St.
yeah.
Vinnie's.
Mhm.
There's quite a few great thrift stores in the area.
Yes, there are.
Yeah, I like to frequent them myself.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about some of the items that you have over here that look like they're really fun to play with.
They are. I call this the Pinterest Supply Headquarters. This is for people who want to be inspired or have their own little crafting ideas. We have license plates cut up in the alphabet. I have bingo cards, old bingo cards, which people like to make notebooks with, or greeting cards. Oh, you never know what you'll find when you pull open a drawer here. Spindles. People like to do fun things with the turned spindles. Let's see what you've got in there. Doorknobs. People use these. They'll make a rack, like a coat rack. You can hang things off of it.
Spoons. I see some
Spoons. Oh, this
and
is
silverware.
jewelry, or who knows what. People hammer them out and flatten them. They cut them.
I've seen wind chimes made.
Wind
out of
chime.
vintage
Oh yes,
spoons and
absolutely.
silverware.
I mean, these old hinges. They're beautiful.
Oh, wow.
These can be used as handles. I've got them attached to something else and wired together to make a handle. Everyone's into digits and numbers, and so we've got all kinds of things with numbers on them. These are springs off of a, I can't get it out. I think an old chair or a couch, and I don't know, people do all kinds of different things with these. That can be a riser. I'm using it to lift a plate. I don't know, let your imagination go. Those are kind of fun. Bed springs people use. I guess our customers inspire us a lot. They come in with an idea and then I want to copy it, and or we share ideas. It's really kind of fun when you start chit-chatting. Yeah, or sometimes I've repurposed something in one way and they will maybe take it apart and just buy a part, and they're going to do something else with it that's even cooler. Who knows?
Definitely. Well, tell us where people can find you and what your hours are.
Okay, well, we are at 127 North Main, next to Sportsman's Pub and Greenwood State Bank, and I'm here Wednesdays through Saturdays from 10 until 4.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Stephanie.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad you came.
Well, that 30 minutes sure went quickly. It's such a pleasure to spend time with you. Please come back for a visit next month. I'm going to plan a beautiful Mother's Day brunch, and you're invited. But before we say goodbye, for this month, here's a lovely poem for you. To an Early Daffodil, written by Amy Lowell. Thou yellow trumpeter of laggard spring, thou herald of rich summer's myriad flowers, the climbing sun with new recovered powers does warm thee into being. Through the ring of rich brown earth he woos thee, makes thee fling thy green shoots up, inheriting the dowers of bended sky and sudden sweeping showers. Till ripe and blossoming thou art a thing, to make all nature glad, thou art so gay. To fill the lonely with a joy untold, nodding at every gust of wind today. Tomorrow, jeweled with raindrops. Always bold to stand erect, full in the dazzling play of April's sun, for thou hast caught his gold. Thank you for spending some of your time with me today. I'll be back next month with a show that you're sure to enjoy. Please stop by. Have a lovely day.
It's a lovely day today, so whatever you've got to do, you got a lovely day to do it in, that's true. And I hope whatever you've got to do is something that can be done by two, for I'd really like to stay. It's a lovely day today, and whatever you've got to do, I'd be so happy to be doing it with you. But if you've got something that must be done, and it can only be done by one, there is nothing more to say, except it's a lovely day for saying it's a lovely day.